So, apparently Britain is deciding to become the clown car of Europe again with their absolutely batshit insane politics. And what's interesting is that British people actually like it. Or maybe it's like just the British people that I talk with. I'm sure that there are some people that are against it. But the overwhelming mentality is that they're drunk on safetyism. Like I spoke with some British people on Facebook, the boomer generation. And most of them, they're like, well, that's a good thing. Like, finally the government is taking action. Like, it's not healthy for you. And if it's not healthy, why should you? Why should you be allowed to refill? Why do you want your children to be obese? Are you a person that hates little kids? What is wrong with you? We live in a society, and what you do affects all of us. And so we must make sure that you don't get to do what you want. You don't get to live how you want. Like, we need Keir Starmer. We need Keir Starmer to crack down and violate your ass until you submit. And like, I'm listening to that type of rhetoric, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, is that the European nation talking? Like, is that normal now? And apparently, yes, right? Because it's for the kids. It's for the children. Like, how can you have children that aren't fat unless Keir Starmer takes care of it? And it begs the question, like, didn't they used to have refills back in the 90s? How did they manage to solve the obesity pandemic back then? How did people manage to stay in shape for thousands of years without the government being involved? So wild, isn't it? But what's also interesting is you get to see videos on Twitter, and you can't tell if they're real or fake anymore. Like, there was this guy, which a couple of weeks ago made a funny video where he goes into a restaurant, and apparently he's not allowed to have a refill. And he takes a refill anyway, and he acts like he's a terrorist. He acts like, I'm going to violate the law now. They're going to send the police after me, aren't they? And he gets a second one. And last week, right, a couple of days after that, he makes another video saying that the police have invited him to an interview. He said he hasn't committed any crime, but they want to discuss about why he wanted the refill. And again, like, I can't tell if it's true or not. Like, the guy seems like a comedian, but it's Britain, so it may be possible. And so, again, like, safetyism is the current modern-day cancer. Treating the government like God, literally praying to the government that they solve issues. Like back in the day, in the medieval time period, if you had a drought, people would start praying. It would be like, Jesus, please, Jesus, make the drought go away, Jesus. Make it go away. And they would start fasting, and they would start donating more to the church, and they may even blame the king. Like, maybe the king has done something to upset God, and this is God's punishment on us because the king has done something. So they would pressure the king to be more pious, and then the king would donate to church. And that's what, no, seriously, like, historically, this is what people did in a time of national tragedy. Like, if there was a drought, if there was a plague, if there was something like that, that's what people did. And now people are just begging the government for anything, like anything that's a public health crisis, whether it's COVID, whether it's the obesity epidemic, whether it's, like it doesn't fucking matter. If it's erotica, like I understand porn is now a public health crisis, like whatever the case may be, they're like, government, please step in, government, please legislate, please hire more people and take my taxpayer money and fix the issue. And so the government keeps doing that, and the government becomes more and more prevalent into every single aspect of people's lives, until we're going back to the monarchy, where the king has absolute rule, where Keir Starmer gets to dominate every single aspect of their life. Except now Keir Starmer is genuinely God, because he does have the internet with AI and CCTV footage everywhere, and credit card transfer informations, and everyone has a digital ID. So yes, like, now the government is everywhere because people invited in. People genuinely want this. And so what is the real reason, right? Like, why is the United Kingdom actually deciding to ban refills? Like, is this going to fix anything? Of course not. They actually have, like, the Brits have invented this government institution. It's called nudging, right? Like, they have an institution that nudges people. Literally, that's what they call it. And they do shit like this to get people to comply. To see if people are going to comply, and to subliminally tell people that they don't get to buy as much Pepsi as they want they get to listen to what the government tells them they're allowed. So it doesn't really matter how much you want. The question is like, how much does Keir Starmer allow you to have? There's also benefits for the actual soda companies, like as ridiculous as this sounds, but in reality, you know, if someone wants 2 glasses of Coke, they're going to order another one. So they're going to make more sales for Coke. It's advantageous for the large businesses because they can actually suffer the regulations, right? Like the idea is you're going to go to a McDonald's that can afford to lower the price on Pepsi so that you can actually get 2 cups. And by doing that, you're actually a customer. While the small business owners, they can't do that. And finally, I think it's also about the NHS, right? So like the NHS, which is already struggling. I understand like British people have an extremely difficult time seeing a doctor now. Like the waiting lines are insane. And on top of the fact that you're already being taxed an arm and a leg for the NHS, now the government also tells you, okay, so in order to get public healthcare, you're going to be taxed an arm and a leg, and you're not allowed to drink as much as you want, and then there's probably going to be another set of regulations that the government is using to, quote-unquote, try and keep people healthy. And by the way, the reason for the fatness, just so you know, is also because of government regulations. Like a lot of the shit that's being put into food is because the government, back in the day when there was the first controversy with the Super Size Me documentary and McDonald's and shit, the government actually forbade McDonald's to use a lot of ingredients for their original recipes, so they had to find alternatives. And apparently the alternatives, while they are allowed, they also make people fat. And that's pretty much like the entire meat industry, not just McDonald's. It's kind of like the immigration thing, you know, like the government causes it, and then also the government comes up with a solution for it, and the solution is to restrict more of your rights and tax you more. And until people just stop accepting safetyism, and until people start calling the welfare state as the problem for literally everything we have, this will continue. And life is not going to improve. Life is going to become more expensive. Your purchasing power is going to go to the shit. And everything you do is going to be controlled, monitored, and watched for the safety of society, right? Because what you do affects others. That's the mentality now. So, like, you need to live in a managed society where you do only the things that you're allowed to do because you don't want to affect others, right? Heaven forbid living a life that affects others. That's why ancient Rome collapsed, right? So, like, we don't want ancient Rome to collapse again. Horrible. Absolutely atrocious. Jesus. Like, this is the most vile stuff that I've seen. The idea of the government intervening even when it comes to refills. And what I find interesting is that people say, well, of course, you know, like you live in a society, like surely there must be rules. And I'm okay, well, let's spin the argument a little bit. And I agree there must be rules, but is the government supposed to operate under any rules? Like, is there anything that the government shouldn't legislate? Is there anything that people can do where the government doesn't have a say in it? And apparently the answer seems to be no. Like, the government should actually be able to legislate, including how you take a piss at your toilet. If it could, it would. You know, it's just not that they haven't gone around to it, but they will probably. I wonder though, like, why is the current British government acting like this? Like, they're incredibly unpopular, and yet they're making all of these decisions that are incredibly impactful on people's life, and they don't seem to care. It's almost like they're very convinced they're not going to lose the next elections, which is a little bit sus. Because maybe they're right, you know, like maybe they have a plan and they won't lose the next elections. And then they can do more of this shit. They also banned smoking, didn't they? Anyway, right, well, it is what it is. I'm just like looking at this horrified and I'm hoping it stays there. Like, please remain on the island, okay? Don't come to the rest of Europe. I don't even get refills, just so you know, okay? Like, I usually don't bother going and getting refills, but the principle is what I find abhorrent. Like, why is the government deciding whether or not a citizen gets to have a refill? So, like, a company wants to allow a citizen to have a refill, the citizens wants to have the refill, but the government steps in and goes, no. And it's like, why? Public health. Okay, can I choose not to get public health? What if I want to die at the age of 45? I don't give a shit. I don't want to live until I'm 75. Okay? When I reach 45 years old, I just want to die. I get sick and I die. I don't want any help. I don't want to pay for the system. Can I do that? No, of course not. And on top of the fact that you can't do that, you also have to comply by these regulations because it affects everyone. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.